France, la 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 la. Princesse de l'évêque étant les confins, la 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 la.
I was wandering blindly for so long that I legitimately thought the map was bugged. When this map begins, we're not told what we're doing. If we're headed for that ship mentioned way earlier, the Avalon Vale, we're given no distinguishing features, and the one notable landmark, a lighthouse, which you would be drawn towards, is obscured by the draw distance. How fucking ironic. This leaves you with no clear objective to start the map with. And after scaling the lighthouse, we're blown out immediately and have to spend a minute swimming over to the opposite dock, which is barely lit. From here, we're not to head towards a boat, but to a random point in between some cargo crates, at which point the next map loads. Surprise, surprise, a large directionless dock. This happened in the factory area as well, and I have to say, I'm not impressed by how large this map is. It's horrible. It's boring. Holding down W and Shift is not engaging gameplay. I see this massive stretch of road ahead, and I'm not thinking, wow, that's realistic. I'm mentally shutting off. Cut this road. It's useless. When I'm told to go to a factory, don't put two factories right next to one another. Don't place a gigantic car park nearby and let me wander into it. You are wasting my time and your own. This is another lesson you should be taking from Half-Life. You can make an area feel expansive and complete without minute-long stretches of fuck all. Half-Life creates a sense of place by running you through fleshed-out highlight reels of a space. I never thought while playing Nova Prospekt that it needed more empty corridors to really sell me on the fact that this is a big prison. It's padding of the most obvious kind. So, on the other side of the dock, the water is poisonous, I guess. Oh god, me ankles. How the hell did that damage me? I made the jump. We eventually make it to the Avalon Vale. What follows is the first scene that really lets you know that Hideo Kojima is going to be in the special thanks. Captain Roosevelt welcomes the men.
Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by this some have entertained angels without knowing it. Hebrews.
That's not a curse. You made a deal with the devil.
So around
work because we are not taking out the old emotions. Half-Life discuss
on storytelling from its source to bulk them up. The world tells no story, and what little snippets of story we get during gameplay are quiet and without subtitles.
this cutscene is going to actually work because we are not taking out the all the normal Half-Life story progress and just taking out the
Tells no story, and what little snippets
extra
are quiet and without subtitles.
this we put extra
Fighting at sea. Yeah, we've been at this stupid plan for 3 years. Take everything I said about the last map being way too bloody big, and then add in areas that can kill you through super cold, and well, it's a bit like that. The enemies aren't as awful, mind, so it's, you know, swings and roundabouts. We start by falling into a cave, and I'll give some credit. I had fun lighting and tossing this flare to find the way. The insane screen tearing this is causing is a bit much, mind, so I'll just switch on the VSync. Oh. So, it's at this chapter that the game has also started crashing whenever it loaded a manual or quick save. And so, as a substitute, I just had to start no-clipping. I know I should be annoyed or quick save. I'm more impressed by how shoddy this is. So, we've got a handgun, a bolt-action rifle, too bloody far to walk, and as we're and passes off to our left. Follow it to the left. As I said, we have a pistol and a bolt action. Hardly good weapons for taking on any number of hunters. Of course, it's telling us to go left. We have to make an assumption that it'd be headed home. But in the next stage, indeed in this whole chapter, there are no other hunters. And from here on out, to avoid the deep freeze, we have to follow the dead trees. Naturally, the game then introduces its first real gimmick. Snipers. They're sort of dropped on you. The game doesn't demonstrate how they work first or give you a hint on how to avoid them. The threat is just suddenly there and you have to learn. There's no cover, so instead you have to dodge them. And it's a very basic rhythm. Sprint forward a bit to make them lead a shot, stop, wait for the shot, then repeat for 15 minutes. I'm not joking. This obstacle is repeated with no variety for an entire stage, with the deep freeze so you don't dodge too far away. The increase in difficulty over the course of this stage comes from just placing the snipers closer and closer to the player, necessitating just doing the same rhythm faster and faster, until it's at the point that you're better off just sprinting past and taking the hit. Then one of them is bugged and able to shoot you through the fucking floor. Classic escalation of difficulty. Just make it worse until it's practically broken and cheating. I put up a clip of this moment, and a comment from it. Yes, so many of the walking sounds in this game are mismatched, so that walking on this fixed snow sheet sounds like I'm walking on tiles. If you've watched to this point, you now know that this is just a small issue hiding amongst so many. I'm not going to go on this game's aesthetics too much, I've mentioned them here and there, but the advantageous framing device of being able to do time skips and leave Mitchell's headspace, please use it a bit more. We fight through this tiny Combine base and emerge on the cusp of an even larger one. Welcome to Act 2, Chapter 2. Welcome to City 17. Whoops. This is the only map in the game I can't claim to have beaten. It's a spotlight segment. If you're spotted, a laser will charge up and kill you. Once spotted, getting hit is inevitable. I have no clue where to go or how to get there. I'm trying, but there isn't enough feedback to avoid the spotlights. And honestly, the later towers feel like they can just decide they want you dead and the spotlight doesn't actually mean anything. I ended up no-clipping to the end of this one. Not that no-clipping wasn't exactly perilous. Inside, we find Boris and his daughter Sasha. This isn't no-clipping to the end of this one. Not that no-clipping wasn't exactly perilous. Self-loathing. But Mitch
We're trying to go to space.
Follows, where it will let us leave if we kill enough Combine. So as we gun everything down and the factory burns to ashes, Boris and Sasha flee out into the wastes of Alaska. And ashes, Boris is fair than the 3-year time jump. So, we now have an army of soldiers in their early 20s, the only people Mitchell's age is in charge.
Needs to.
Mischievous going. Antagonist stupid with Mitchell and about I just kinda had to wander around and accidentally carry out Mitchell's plan. The player is completely left in the dark as to what he wants to do. Whoa, look at this! A map from Half-Life 2. Look at how much space there isn't. As with any good allegiance, it begins with us suicide bombing a security checkpoint in case of Nova Prospect, then Mitchell sneaks into the city and breaks bombing a security checkpoint in case of Aspect, then map is huge and into the city and breaks into a building. Not very quickly, mind, because this map is huge and the window it wants me to scale into it is very easily missed. So I wandered past it huge all time, no doubt most of the time having urban it, and through here brazenly wander into a to do good unlock capture because this is fucking silly. That is such a complex and stupid idea for not being communicated to the player that you have to know, oh, I'm just going to wander. How does it feel like the right thing to do when you, an unarmed character, suddenly has Metro cops firing at them? It's stupid. And then to actually have to run away and go through several buildings. It's so insane. We're brought before Boris, revealing that if you flee your post and let your factory burn, the Combine will shower promotions on you. Boris hints that this new posting was arranged by the G-Man. He refused the deal at first, but when G-Man pointed out that it's taking the deal or Sasha freezing to death, his hands were more than a little bit tied. I should point out that in this entire scene, Boris doesn't explicitly mention it was G-Man. This is so that in a much later conversation,